when I turned 18, I knew that I was a conscientious objector to war, that I couldn't participate in war. So I signed up for the draft as a conscientious objector. Eventually, I was indicted for refusal to obey the Selective Service laws. So in the fall of '71, I learned that I was being indicted. I pled guilty and avoided the whole trial, then went directly to sentencing, and the sentencing was in January of 1972. And I was sentenced to 3 years in federal prison. Then I was taken to the Baltimore City Jail. So Baltimore City Jail for about 10 days, and then I was in federal prison for a year and a half and was paroled then after a year and a half. The place where I lived was first in a dormitory, a cell block that was concrete cells with steel doors, and the room was very bare, just a bed and a locker and a chair. That was for a month. Then I was out in one of the dormitories, which were more like an army barracks. Just a bed and a locker, a bed and a locker in long rows. So I was in that dormitory, the barracks, for 5 or 6 months, and then just on the basis of seniority, then I was able to move into another cell block built in the same way, but what that offered was my own space, my own room. The Baltimore City Jail, the part I was in, they were all prisoners who were awaiting trial or awaiting transfer to some other prison. Some of these guys were just there because they couldn't pay bail. So they're sitting there, and a couple of those guys had been there 2 years, just waiting trial. I was with I think it was about 20 guys in this cell block. There was a lower and upper tier, so there were another 20 upstairs. And in the evening, there was the call, we're going to lock the cells, get back in your cells now, we'll lock all the cells, because they were open during the day. So this one evening, some of the guys went up to the front gate to say to the guards, we're not going to lock in our cells because we have some things we want to talk to the prison administration about, some grievances we want to tell them about. So the guards backed off, and they didn't bring anybody in to talk to them. What they did was call the riot squad. When they called in the riot squad, they were wearing all their riot gear and their helmets and their clubs and their tear gas masks, and they're all pretty big. They gave the order, lock in, and they threw tear gas in. Now, I've been in tear gas in demonstrations before, but being tear gassed when you're in a closed space is a very different thing. And my cell was the next to last, toward the back, so I hear these guys crying and screaming and calling out because they can't breathe and they can't see, and the gas cloud is just rolling down my direction toward me. Finally, the gas gets down to us, and I literally wasn't sure we would survive. Gradually, it got to a point where it leveled off. I was still actually able to get a little air, and then it got just a little better. And then I could start to hear cell doors opening, and they were taking the guys out one by one. and they finally got down to us, and my cellmate couldn't see. The gas had blinded him, and he was African American, and I was helping him out. So it was like running the gauntlet. There were guards with their clubs and their gas masks on all along here, maybe on both sides, I don't remember, in the walkway, and they're prodding him with their sticks. Not me, not the white guy, but the black guy. They're prodding with sticks, even though he can't even see. So we got out and we were taken over to another cell block, and we were there 2 days before they could get the gas out of our cell block and move us back in.